Hi, welcome to a new Barmy Army podcast. Tonight I'm joined by Jake, and making his debut on the Barmy Army podcast is John. Evening, guys.
Hello.
Good
Yes,
evening.
okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
All good.
Good. We were supposed to do this last week, but due to the league cancellation, we put in our Player of the Year awards instead. So we've moved it a week, and hopefully we should be a little bit better prepared. Who knows? It'll be a voyage of discovery. We'll try and see. So we're going to be talking about tonight the new signings, last season's new signings. Hi, John. Hope you're okay. And I guess we should start with the news of the day, which is Aurora, unfortunately, won't be staying. She only made one start. She conceded one goal in that, which I don't think it's her fault, that goal. I know, were you both at that Leicester game?
Yeah.
I don't think the goal was her fault. I know people are saying it's her fault, but personally, I don't think it was her fault. Were you surprised by the announcement today, John?
Touched on it a little earlier. I wasn't surprised that one of the goalkeepers was going to go, and I wasn't necessarily surprised it was her because of the lack of game time. But I did think that she's got potential. Saw a little bit of her playing for Norway at the start of the year, and she did quite well. I'd have liked to have seen more of her, to be honest, but the opportunity just never came. So I wouldn't say I was surprised. I would just say it's just a bit of a shame that we didn't see more of her, I think.
Jake?
Well, not to be that person, but I'm taking a slightly different view. Of course, one of the 5 goalkeepers was going to have to go, and it was never going to be Mary. But I am surprised because we signed her last season from Norway, obviously with the intention of her maybe progressing with the club over the next few seasons. So I'm quite surprised that she's gone after just the one game and the single season. It's a little bit of a shame, as John said. But look, as I say, it was goalkeeper overload last season.
Yeah, we speak to Torren Ellen from Norway, and they were raving about. They were saying that she's going to be a superstar goalkeeper. I agree with both of you. I'm surprised she's gone. I would have thought we would have seen her more than once, but 5 goalkeepers really doesn't fit into the one position we need. It's a shame because I would have liked to have seen her play more of the cup games. I know it was difficult because we had City in the FA Cup, and I think we had to play probably Mary in that game especially. Rambo played against Birmingham away, so it was Casey kind of made a stronger team all the time. But we wish her all the best, and hope she doesn't come back and punish us by keeping clean sheets wherever she goes and showing what a superstar she can be. So now we'll talk about the other goalkeeper we brought in. The clear fan favourite. I've never seen so many goalkeeper shirts with her name on it ever. I've never seen that many goalkeeper shirts with her name on it. I know there's a few in the BA group who've got her shirt. So Mary, she's played every league game for us, which is, I think, for a goalkeeper is amazing. At the time, though, for me last season, I didn't think we needed. I didn't think we needed a new goalkeeper. Obviously, that was before the news of Shiv being pregnant. But Mary's come in and she's been a bit of an upgrade, I will say. Right? Because I know you were a massive Shiv fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was really surprised, but also really happy when we signed Mary. And look, what a signing she's been, because as you say, she won't have to take a bit of time out of football for obvious reasons. So she's obviously stepped into the boots, and as an England international already, she had the experience. She's an established goalkeeper, and we sort of. I don't want to push her down at all, but she has been just what we expected of her. And I think in some matches you could say she's not been her best, but it's very, very easy to criticise goalkeepers. I think she's come in, she's done job for us, and in the process, she's become a bit of a cult hero. Let's be honest, we all love her.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you answer this one, John. It's from another John. Do you think it means Shiv's going to be back in the squad next season?
No, I don't. To be honest, I think we'll keep with Mary. I think Shiv will still be in maybe like the match day squads. I think she can contribute more away from the games itself. Now, maybe she can just pass on her knowledge and still. I don't want to belittle her and just say that it's just going to be a cameo role. She still, can contribute more to that. But I think looking long term, we should be staying with Mary. And I think Mary's had a very good, solid season. As Jake touched on, I mean, there's been a couple of mistakes here and there. But on the flip side to that, she's made some brilliant saves that she probably wouldn't be expected to make. Penalty save as well. So I think she's just done very well, yeah, absolutely.
I think, for me, the criticism that if you ever speak to people, the only criticism that I've heard about Mary in a negative way is that her distribution is not great. And over the back end of the season before it was stopped for COVID, I could kind of see what they were saying, but I think sometimes you can forgive a goalkeeper for the distribution not being 100% accurate all the time if they can pull out the saves that Mary has done. John brought in another point. Which one, Jake?
Yeah, good idea, I'd say. Now, I'm just an outsider. I don't know what's going on inside the club with plans to bring Shiv back in. I think, personally, her time as a footballer is over. Look, I'd love to see her back. We all would. But I think she will eventually, as John says, move into coaching. So, yeah, it's a good idea.
Because he's made another point as well. I'll put it up on the screen. The other two are still young and learning. So maybe having that kind of experience from Shiv in the background, learning off them, getting some of their experience, can only be a good thing for Fran and Rambo.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Everyone's really well respected around the club. You can see that, and even if she's not necessarily number one, she'll be doing things behind the scenes to help the squad and maybe appear in some cup games. And maybe she will start in the league games, but I don't think Mary Earps deserves to be rotated or dropped just because everyone's coming back. I think Mary's done a great job for us, so I can't see that changing, to be honest.
I think the one thing that I've been saying about probably the team this year is that there's competition in almost every place and every position. We've got a plethora of midfielders. We've got some of the, we've got some, Kirsty and Leah as the wingers, and I think the one position where there isn't really that kind of competition is goalkeeper. I think Mary was playing week in, week out. If Shiv comes back into the squad, is that going to be kind of a, Mary, your position's not safe here, or is it a right? I can learn off Shiv. I mean, do you see it like that, John?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I think obviously Siobhan's going to be better than the other goalkeepers that we've got at the moment, at least experience-wise. So yeah, she will definitely keep Mary on her toes, and I think Mary will know that anyway. And it will automatically, just like you say, just keep her on her toes. For me, Mary's going to be first choice, but it won't be a natural one as it has been this season.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, you and I, we had some quality nights last season in the championship season watching Shiv. Would you like to see her? If she says this could be her last season, who knows? Would you like to see her back in goal for us a couple of times?
Yeah, I would, but now you're giving me the choice of, Shiv or Mary. And they're both great goalkeepers. They've both got different qualities. They both had outstanding games for us. For example, Mary, I think her standout game would be the Arsenal one where she kept us in it
Yeah.
for parts of it. That was only her second competitive game for us after obviously the opening day derby. So look, I'd love to see Shibby come back, but it's the whole thing of how realistic is it? Is she still as sharp as she was, this time a year ago? That is a real question for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one though because I think the three of us, we've got a lot of respect for Shiv, but we all kind of know Mary is the number one, and we wouldn't drop David De Gea for for Sergio Romero if we didn't have to. So I, I kind of see it all from every angle. I kind of go Mary's number one, but if it is Shiv's farewell tour, which we don't know it is, we don't know it isn't. It would be nice to see her play a couple of games for us just to say goodbye because she was brilliant in the championship for us last year.
It's nice to have that option again now with two goalkeepers that could probably cut it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's about the competition in places, and like I said before, we've got players who are fighting for positions, and the only I'm not saying Emily and Fran weren't there to push Mary, but Siobhan is, as Jake said, that more experienced goalkeeper who probably could fight Mary for a place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these questions will all be answered next season. We'll all know a lot more in the coming weeks. So on to another signing we made last year, Abby Mack. Now I've followed football a long time. I've seen players go from the red half to the blue half. I can't really remember in my lifetime them coming the other way. So she came from City. She's won cup leagues, but she is a red. Her family's a red. We all know that is fact. How excited were you when the Abby McManus signing was announced, Jake?
I was well. I won't say I'm surprised, but the whole thing about in the men's game, you don't see City players come over to United. That's a lot less. It's a lot more common in the women's game. There's I don't say less loyalty, but players do like to switch around clubs. So I was quite excited to have her because obviously I'd seen her play quite a few times for England. Look, she'd spent a good 13, 14 years at City. It's been a long time. She'd been there growing up and everything, which was nice to know we were getting someone off a top club, even though they were our rivals. So I was very excited when she signed, definitely. And I think she has really stated her case for being one of the first names on the team sheet this season.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, I was excited. Out of the 7 players that we brought in, I only knew 3 of them because I didn't really follow WSL football before Manchester United. So Abby was one of the ones that I had heard of. And I think I was expecting her to come in and basically take charge of that defence because she was because of her experience at City. And I just think that she's got a great partnership with Millie. At any point, if she wasn't performing, Amy could have gone into that role and one of the other fullbacks jump into where Amy's been playing. But I just think that Abby's just been very steady. I don't think she's blown me away at all, but I think that's because I'm probably comparing her to Millie, and Millie's done really well as well. So I think they've got a good partnership there. It's pretty much as I was expecting, really. She hasn't let me down at all, and she's just been quite solid. And you can see that with our defence as well. We've hardly conceded. Obviously, we've hardly conceded, but our defence hasn't really been a problem this season.
Yeah, I mean, John, in the comments, he said that she's someone that we needed, a solid defender. Is that something we needed? I would probably agree. We needed to have backup for Amy and Millie. Because last season in the Championship, we could kind of play them every game because we weren't in as many big games as we are now. But I love Amy and Millie as the 2 centre backs. I think Jake, you're probably the same. Amy and Millie is it, but Abby's come in. I mean, she's played. She's had 17 starts. She scored one. She scored one legitimate goal. We'll get into that illegitimate goal in a minute against Brighton in the Conti. And I agree with both of you. I think her partnership with Millie, it's taking them time to get a partnership going. But once it has got to get going, I'm so impressed with them. And Jake, the only criticism I have of maybe Abby is that for the goal against Leicester, I know people were saying that it was overall his fault she came too far out. My only criticism of Abby is that she let a ball bounce instead of just getting it out of the way. But I think she's a solid defender, and I agree with John. It's someone that we needed to have, someone who could stand up and let Millie play the ball out, and someone just to go and take someone down if they have to. That's the kind of defenders I like. I like a defender who will clear out a player. Right?
Yeah, what I like about their partnership, Millie and Amy, is that Millie and Abby, is that they do work together really well and they can complement each other. They're not afraid to put a tackle in. I think if we're comparing Millie is much better at judgment of the ball, judgment of passes. But look, you can't have one defender without the other. You know, you've got to have a solid partnership there. And with Amy Turner on the right back, she can sometimes come in and cover. I think we've got a very strong back line, and I wouldn't like to see too many changes from that.
It's an interesting point. We'll come back to that point, Jake, because obviously one of the other players signed last year was Lotta. We'll get to that in a second. John, you were at the FA Cup game where we got narrowly beat, even though we should have won it. The goal, obviously, Abby scored, was ruled out for not crossing the line, even though it was, in my eyes, a good mile over the line.
Yeah.
Is it the one thing that maybe Abby needs to bring to a game is probably more goals from set pieces? Because Amy scores some goals, so does Mel. Is that the only thing that's probably missing from the game?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think throughout the whole season, though, I was getting quite frustrated with some of the corners. Some of our corners and set pieces where the shots weren't available on free kicks, for example. The crosses into the box probably wasn't the best anyway, or the play it short. Sometimes I just wanted more balls to go into the box for Abby or whoever to get the head onto. But yeah, I definitely agree that goals need to come from all over the pitch, to be honest. Definitely the centre-backs need to be chipping in. But yeah, it's definitely something that she can be looking at doing. She's got the physique and the power and the experience to do that. So yeah, I'd definitely like to see her get on the score sheet a bit more. That would also probably help her confidence as well, because I think at times maybe her confidence was probably lacking a little bit when she did make a couple of mistakes. Just that odd goal here and there will keep her going a little bit as well.
Before I go on to Jake, was it a goal in your eyes, though, John, that goal against City?
Absolutely. Yeah. We could see it from where we was, and we was a mile away, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, from our angle, and we, where we stand at LSV, we were like that, and if we could see it was a goal, I don't know how the liner, who was literally, I don't know how the liner couldn't see it, and the players' box behind us, they were going. I've never seen the players in that box go as mad, as they did that day. Jake, would you agree? Maybe a few more goals is there.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see her score a few more. Obviously, the one against Brighton was quite nice. Right place, right time. She scored. Well, I say from a corner. Eventually, from a corner, it sort of was passed around between Katie and Kirsty, I think, before it actually went into the box. But look, if Abby gets herself in the right positions at the right time, she can finish, as every defender should.
Yeah, I mean, last season we had Amy and Millie. They were banging in some goals. I don't think Millie's scored as many this season, but John said it in the comments that he thinks Millie should score more as well. I think, John, you said it in what you were saying before, in the fact that you would like to see more goals spread out across the entire team, not just the strikers and Leah and whoever else. But I don't think it's a bad thing that the only thing we can say badly about Abby is that we wanted to score a few more goals. I think it's actually, we're saying she's pretty solid. She's picked up a great partnership with Mill, and obviously, not only that, Mills playing with a new defensive partner and a new goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole back line is drastically changed from last season.
And the person in front of her as well, Hayley Ladd. So she's surrounded by pretty much everyone. Yeah.
So Lotta was a player none of us expected. Let's be honest. It was only the news of when Alex. Before we go on to Lotta, Jake, I never asked you. Was it a goal against City?
Of course, it was a goal. Of course.
Because John said a blind man could see it, and I'd have to agree. So Lotta came in. Obviously, none of us expected Lotta. A few of the names that were, we were all branded around, we all kind of realised were coming, but none of us expected Alex to go. So before we kind of talk a bit about Lotta, how surprised were you that Sunday night at 10:30 at night, whatever it was, when the tweet came out that Alex was going? Joe?
I was heartbroken, honestly, as probably most of us were. Now, what struck me, this is probably just something I've noticed, but usually when we announce a signing or a departure, it's usually during the day, early afternoon. But as you say, it was a very strange timing, late on Sunday night. I got that Twitter notification, and I was like, I really hope this is a joke. And obviously, it wasn't, but I think that just shows how good Alex was for us. And I don't want to go into how amazing she is. We can see that because she's gone to the best club in the world. But it left us with a big gap, and one that we needed to fill, obviously.
John, are you surprised?
Yeah, I was gutted, to be honest. I didn't see it on the Sunday night. I woke up to it on the Monday morning, and I got my phone out and I saw all the tweets and everything about it. I just kept on reading every article and every tweet just in case I was misreading it. I was definitely surprised. I was really looking forward to seeing her because I never watched the first season, so I was looking forward to seeing her live in the second season. And I just couldn't believe it. And at the time, there was talk about having Maguire come into the men's team, and I think he signed within a couple of days, and it completely took the shine off having Maguire signing because I was gutted about with her leaving. And definitely surprised. Yeah, there was just no sign of it coming from where I was anyway.
No, I think it kind of took everyone by surprise. There was just at the time it happened. I think if it would have happened during the day on a Monday, I think everyone would have gone, all right. It's a bit, but for it to go out on a Sunday night at 10:30 at night, the timing was a bit weird. But if you read the rumours on social media and everything else, apparently she might be coming back. So, with that in mind, would you take Alex back, John?
I would, yeah. If she came back, I would really cheer for her because I could understand. Why she would go. Because Leon is a fantastic team, and there's probably only going to be one opportunity for her to get that. But obviously, loyalty-wise, it's such a shame that anyone would want to leave Man United, and I could understand why a lot of fans wouldn't want her back and would be unhappy about it. But if I'm honest, I would like to see her back. Yeah.
Sorry, John.
So just quickly,
the whole time he's just been nodding like that the whole time. So Jake, I'm going to gather that you wanted her back as well, then.
Yeah. Look, I just I agree with everything John says. He's talking sense about this. I think a lot of us are on the same page in the fact that we would take Alex back. The captaincy thing is another issue. I think she's lost that now. That's quite rightfully Katie's. But of course, I'd take Alex back. I can't blame her for leaving. I really can't, because look, if you say to a player, look, here's you possibly your only chance to go and play for the best club in the world. I'm sorry, but of course you're going to go. And I think she could quite easily slot back into the team, because look, a lot of the players that she played with are still around, and look, I don't need to go on about how brilliant she is at going forward and defending. She's got the whole package, and look, I'd take her back in a heartbeat.
So let's talk about her replacement then in Losser-Octus. I think I'll say it openly and honestly. I didn't know a lot about her before she came. Were you two any more aware of her than I was, Jake?
I didn't know a full stop, and I'm meant to know about these players.
John?
No, I never heard of her at all. No.
So she's only played 6 games, 6 starts for us, which I actually, when I was doing my little bit of research, I actually in my head had her down as starting 5, but the internet's a weird and wonderful thing. They think she started 6, so I'll go with that. So she came in to replace Alex. Were you expecting an Alex Greenwood, or were you saying, were you expecting kind of, we're going to mould, Casey's going to mould her into that position? John?
I think she came in with a lot of pressure on her shoulders, to be honest. Because, as you said there, a replacement for Alex Greenwood, because they're both playing the same positions, that's exactly the way people would be looking at her as a replacement. She's come from a league where I don't think her team ever challenged for the title. I think at some point she played in the second tier as well. So to go from a Swedish league into the WSL, she seemed a bit like low on confidence as well. I don't know if it's the language barrier or not, but she seems quite quiet. She's got all this going on, going to a new country, and then the first game is in front of 30,000 people. I think she just had so much pressure on her shoulders, and she probably knew that Casey did bring her in as a replacement because she's wearing the number 3 shirt. She was first choice left back for the first game of the season at the Etihad, so I think she had a lot of pressure on her shoulders. I think she's just done as good as she probably could have done realistically in her first season. I think there's a lot more to come from her, and I do like her attributes. I do like how offensive she plays. In that Man City game, in that first game of the season, going forward, I don't think she ever passed the ball backwards. She kept on looking forward to Leah Galton, and I loved how she got forward. And that's, I always say it, I love my fullbacks to get forward, and I do think she's got a lot to give. But at the moment, I just think this is, it took her a while to get used to playing in England.
Mm-hmm. Jake?
Yeah, as John says, it is a massive step up for her. And when she signed, obviously, I wanted to do a bit of research to who she was. And I don't want to say I was worried. I was just a little bit surprised that we signed someone with such little experience. And obviously, moving up from where she was in Sweden up to the elite league in England. Look, it's a massive step up. And the pressure, well, one thing that John didn't mention there, that not only is she filling Alex Greenwood's boots and position, she also took the shirt number 3. So it's like in every way, shape, and form, she is essentially the replacement for Alex. So yeah, the pressure was ridiculously high coming into the season for her, and I think she's bit by bit she's improving. She's not our best player, she's not our loudest player, but she does a job, and that's the thing. I'd love to see her really grow into the team next season. I think next season could be her breakthrough season, if you like.
No, I completely agree with everything you both said. I mean, not only did she make to make a debut at the Etihad, she didn't really have a pre-season with the girls. Mm-hmm. She couldn't really get. I think she came in maybe the week of the Etihad game, maybe the week before. I can't really remember, but she came in and as John said, she made a debut in the biggest game of the season at the Etihad, 30,000 there. She probably walked out and went, "What's going on?" And I was surprised that she was subbed when she at the Etihad, because actually I thought there was someone. For me, I didn't think she was doing. She was doing a lot wrong. I think as John said, and he's absolutely spot on. She was getting forward all the time, and as someone who likes the full, as John, I agree. Like John, I like my fullbacks to bomb forward to give the wingers another outlet or whatever. I really enjoyed that. The one thing that I did when I was doing my research for something else earlier on is that she was subbed roughly at the same time Patrice Evra was subbed in his debut at the Etihad. Now, we all know what kind of career Pat Evra had. Now, for Lotta, for me, in the Everton game, the last game we had before COVID, I thought Lotta was one of our best players on the pitch. And you were there, Jake, because you love going to the Everton games.
I do indeed.
So, could you see the improvement from the game at the Etihad to the game at Everton away?
Definitely. Like at the Etihad, I didn't really notice so much. She didn't stand out at all. But at Everton, she was playing down the wing that we were all stood on in the first half. Anyway, and when Leah scored both the goals, she was right behind her. She was supporting her. And the best thing about Lotta, I think, in that game was her pace. She was darting forward, darting back, making sure she was there to cover. I think that Everton game was by far her best match for United so far.
So, let's say, in a hypothetical world, Alex comes back. What do we do? Do we say Alex is going to start? I think you would both probably say Alex starts over Lotta.
Yeah.
Do you send Lotta out on loan and keep her as one for the future, or do you look at it the other way and go, if Alex is back, kind of see you?
Me personally, I wouldn't want to. I can see what you're saying. We wouldn't need her as such, especially considering the amount of players who we've been playing on the left back position this season. But maybe Alex Greenwood is someone that Lotta needs to improve a game. We could potentially send her out on a loan, for example, just to get used to English football. But she's been here a year now, so I would like to see her have another year with us. But yeah, I think a lot of what Lotta is good at is what Alex is good at, but she's just not as good at it. You know, she does like to overlap and get forward, whereas maybe some of the fullbacks that we've got at the moment can't do that. So I think that Lotta, I think she's only like 23-ish, so she's still got a lot of time to develop a game and be a good second choice left back underneath Alex.
Yeah, I'm going to be slightly controversial-ish. Personally, I would like Lotta to be our starting left back next season. I think we've got some great I've said it before, and we've got some great competition in most of the team. We've got Kirsty Smith, Scotland international, and again, we've all the run of games she had up until COVID stopped the season. I thought Kirsty Smith was by far one of our better players. So we've got competition for our fullbacks. I would like Lotta to be our starting left back next season, and if that means Alex doesn't come back, then so be it. I'm happy with Lotta at left back. I think it takes time, and Jake, you've been watching women's football for a while. So do you think she's needed this year to bed in, get used to the pace of the game, and then next year we'll see her push on? Like, I don't want to compare her to Patrice Evra because that's that's just going to do her no good. But Patrice Evra had a bad first 6-7 months of his United career, and then he became one of the best left backs in the world. Would you, where do you expect Lotta to be next season?
Well, if that timeline is anything to go by, then obviously she's had her sort of 6-7 months, if you like, and maybe this season ending early is a blessing in disguise for Lotta. I would go as far as saying, next season, I say I don't want to say a fresh start, but it's sort of a new chance for everyone to sort of prove themselves when all teams had a long time out and have to hit the ground running. So I think Lotta next season, I don't want to say the pressure's on to prove herself, but we're all expecting it now. I think there's a level of expectation. She's had a chance to gel with the team, to obviously get used to the culture, understand the speed, all that sort of stuff of the game. And I think next season I have faith in her. I think she will come out and really be one of our stronger players next season.
Yeah, John, one of the points that you made and Deborah's made in the comments is Lotta's got great delivery too. Now, Alex, she's got a good delivery and she can do those things. Are we just seeing, I think you said it, a younger Alex in the form of Lotta? Can she do all of that?
Yeah, and again, that's as we started this conversation, we're putting massive pressure on Lotta, aren't we, for someone who isn't used to having that much pressure, at her previous level. But like I say, her strengths are the same as what Alex seems to be, and you can kind of see why Katie's brought her in, or the scouting team has seen something in her to bring her in. But as Jake rightly said, it's going to get to a point where she will need to perform consistently, not just in the odd game here and there, especially if she's going to start being a regular starting in the starting 11. I definitely think she deserves another season because I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. So let's just see what we can do this season.
Yeah, the Everton game. I think as we were doing the fan cams outside after the game, I think a lot of the people I was speaking to, and I think some of them said it on how impressed they were with Lotta, considering she's had such a stop-start season. She started, as we all said, against City at the Etihad. She was subbed off. She then didn't play till the Liverpool game, and then she didn't. Then in the league, she didn't play after the Liverpool game all the way through till the Everton game, and she played in the Conti games. And I was surprised with how much she had developed from that first game against City to where she was against Everton.
I wonder what Casey.
Yeah, I wonder what the people that did Lotta. Anyway, go on, John. Sorry.
I was going to say, I wonder what Casey didn't see in her in that first game that made her not use her all season in the WSL. It must have been something in training, I would have thought, because that Man City game, I don't think she had such a bad game. I know there was a couple of attacks in the first half that Man City had down Lotta's side where crosses came in. But come on, you are against Man City, you can expect that. So it must be something must have either been something in training, or her first choice was always going to be maybe Martha or Curtis Smith, and she was just maybe in at the right time. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm trying to remember. Was she substituted for Amy T in that game that the Etihad?
I know Hayley Ladd played on the other side. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know Amy Turner came on and she started bombing forward. For me, I think the game at the Etihad, I think it took her by surprise. The crowd. I also think the speed of the game maybe as well. I think we can probably look at excuses, but for me, I think she starts as our first choice left back next season. On to another fan favourite, Hayley Ladd. Now, thank you to everyone who voted for Hayley in our Player of the Year awards. Hayley won comfortably, so congratulations, Hayley. Jake, we'll start with you on Hayley. You were a massive fan, and you are a massive fan of Hayley Ladd.
Yeah, look, I love Hayley, and she's one of the signings that I'd watched for quite a few years before she came to United. I was thrilled when we signed her. I knew what we were getting in her. She's not disappointed. I should say she's won our vote for Player of the Season, and look, I'm really impressed with her. What I like most about Hayley is in that City game she played right back, which was a bit of an unfamiliar position for her. She hadn't played it much at Birmingham. She doesn't play right back for Wales, but she fit into it well. She did a job, and I said after that game, maybe that can be sort of I don't want to say permanent, but sort of most likely position. But it wasn't in the end, and she's come back to central defensive midfield, which is obviously her natural position. Now Hayley is a very versatile player, as we all know. She does a job, and she can score impressive goals, as we saw against Leicester.
I was going to talk about it because it's what I do. I always talk about that goal. The other reason, Jake, and I'm going to put it on the screen, is that the reason you like and Deborah's pointed to this is that because she's Welsh and you know all the best Welsh songs.
Yeah, well, I make all the best Welsh songs, but there we go. But yeah, no. Look, I'd watched Hayley for years play for Wales, and as I say, she's a rock in the heart of the Welsh defence. Obviously, she plays a bit further up for us, but look, I'm really happy to have Hayley, and I'd love to see her as part of the team for years to come.
I think for me, John, it was the kind of player, and Jake will probably agree, that we wanted last season in the Championship. We were kind of all screaming out for last season, and then she's come in this season. And the difference she's made is, well, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't really count her first game at the Etihad because she played a right back. Not, and I said it in another podcast again. Her first game for United at right back, Roy Keane played his first game for United at right back as well. And again, not to make the comparisons, but it's inevitable that it will happen. How impressed have you been with her, John?
Yeah, hugely. I didn't know her before she joined our club, so I just saw her as a Birmingham City player. So that was I didn't have much expectations because I didn't know of her. So to see how well she controls the game, I just couldn't believe. Literally within about 3 or 4 games, when I knew how consistent she was, I just thought to myself, "This is brilliant," because no one's getting past her, and she can pick the ball off Millie and pass it about exactly what that role needed. And if you remember, after the first couple of games against City and Arsenal, we went on like a 5-game unbeaten streak, and I don't even think we conceded a goal. Okay, we was against weaker teams. However, she controlled those games, and she just looked so comfortable on the ball, and she just allows the other 5 players ahead of her just to play. And I think she just suits that position perfectly. I think she just did a cracking job for us.
Again, she's been an ever-present in the WSL. She started every game. I mean, that tells you of her qualities. I said it last week in the Player of the Year awards. The one thing I like about her, she doesn't panic on the ball. She doesn't get the ball and which way do I go? And she knows what she's already going to do with it. Jake, you would have probably watched her a few games at Birmingham. Do you think she's come in and been better than you thought than she was at Birmingham? Or the same?
Yeah, I think she has slightly, because let's not forget I already had very high expectations and viewed her in such a great light before she came to United. But I think she's stepped it up even a bit better this season, because Birmingham last season they finished 4th. They were a lot like what we are this season, if you like, because they lost to the big teams, but then they beat all small teams. They were quite solidly 4th. And it's as if Hayley's played the exact same season, a little bit better, in different colours. That's what I like about Hayley. I should say she's really cool on the ball. She's calm, and she just knows what she's doing. You give her a job to do, she'll do it.
Yeah, and I think it's also handy that she can play a couple of positions. I think it'll be hard for us to say she's a right back. She had to play there in the City game, but sitting in front of the 2 centre backs, I think she's been brilliant. And I don't think I have to talk about that goal against Leicester because it's my standout. I mean, we've scored some great goals this season, and I know Leicester weren't putting up a lot of competition, shall we say? But that goal for me, it shows how cool and calm she was on the ball. And I know John's going to pop in the comments, and we're going to talk about the Cantona style celebration she did. But that game against Leicester, it came at an important time for us. We just lost to Chelsea on the Sunday. We played Leicester. Would you, and I'm just thinking of this now, would you make her vice captain maybe? Is she a leader? Is the old way I say it? John?
I would go for Millie first. Because, but that's just my preference. I don't know what goes on around the training ground or anything like that. But to me, I think Millie is more of. People seem to go to Millie more than Hayley, but that's nothing against Hayley. You know, if I had to choose a captain there that wasn't Katie, I would probably go for Millie. But I could definitely see where Hayley Ladd comes from. So I wouldn't mind if Hayley was vice captain at all. No, it's just that I've always had in my mind maybe Millie's the next player to be captain.
So on to our marquee signing. I think we can say she's the marquee signing in Jackie. I remember the whole buzz in the WhatsApp group the day Jackie signed. The songs were being written, the flag was being done. How excited, Jake, were you when it was announced that Jackie Gronin was coming to United?
Very. Look, we all know she was a massive name in the women's game before she came to us. And then, of course, shortly after signing for us, that goal against Sweden in the semi-final of the World Cup, it really got us all excited, didn't it? But a lot of us had seen Jackie before. She played all over Europe, really. Had some time in the WSL with Chelsea a few seasons back. But look, this was the standout signing that we sort of needed to, I think, really push ourselves to the next level, as in WSL level. And I was really happy. I've been quite impressed with her this season.
Yeah, John, again, Jackie Gronin, massive name in the women's game. Were you kind? This is wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know many players who play abroad, but Jackie was one of them through her success for Holland in the European Cup and the World Cup. So when we signed this player, this is someone who I could get excited about because I already knew her. And yeah, of course, I was expecting good things. It is a marquee signing. It's a statement signing. And that's exactly what it was. We move up to the WSL, and then all of a sudden we've got a European Cup winner, a World Cup finalist, who, as Jake said, scored in the semi-final just a month early or whatever it was. Yeah, I was absolutely excited, and I never heard any of her interviews before or anything like that. I've just seen her play. But the more you get to know her as well, she's just a breath of fresh air, isn't she? So I can see why she's got so many fans, so many followers on Twitter, and yeah, absolutely brilliant to have her in the team.
So I didn't really know of her before the World Cup, and obviously before we signed her. I watched all the Holland games in the World Cup. The first game she was subbed. I was like, really? But then she just got into the tournament and she became better and better and better. And then she obviously scored that goal against Sweden. The question is, and it's a question that you see on social media, and I'm going to put it to you two. Can you play Jackie and Katie in the same team? And it's tough because I love them both. John, what do you think?
I've always defended the midfield three that we've got because they've got us to a level where we've, I wouldn't say we've exceeded expectations, but we've definitely reached our ceiling by finishing fourth in the WSL. So let's not discredit the good job that our central three have done, because they've got us to a semi-final and top four. However, I think it's getting to a stage now for us to break in to either a final or to break into the top three. We need to score goals, don't we? And if they're not either creating or scoring themselves, and you've got Tooney on the bench who can score goals, or potentially bring LJ into that number 10 role and bring in a striker to play ahead of LJ, all of a sudden, I'm not answering the question here, I'm a mark. I'm trying to be as clever as I can about this. I think you can play them both together, but one of them needs to be taking the accountability for scoring the goals, or at least creating more.
Yeah, because last season, obviously, Katie was getting forward a lot more. This season, she's kind of holding sometimes and going forward the other time. Jake, what do you think?
Short answer, no. I don't think you can play them in the same team. Now, that might sound harsh, but they are very, very similar in the styles of play, especially going forward. And I'm not going to pick between them, because that's not what this is about. And Jackie, look, we know how brilliant she is, how a bit like Hayley, how she's really calm, but also she's got a very attacking sense of mind. But I'm very traditional. I like a 4-4-2, and even without that, I think we need every player to do a different job. Whereas those two sort of sometimes clash and will do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I love either of them any less. But if we are comparing for a second, I think Katie slightly edges it for me because she's scored goals, albeit set pieces, but she has scored this past season, whereas Jackie is yet to.
Yeah, I mean, Deborah put it in the comments that if you watch back some of our games, actually she's been a bigger influence than probably we all thought at the time at being at the game. I know for Holland she plays slightly out a bit wide to the right more than being central for us. Do you think that's where we might see the best of her out on the right, John?
I don't know if it's going to be the better for her, but it is definitely an option. At large parts of the season, if we've played Kirsty Hanson on that right-hand side now. I voted for her as on the Barmy Army poll as one of our better players. So even though I am a big fan of Kirsty Hanson, that's because of how well the season has gone for her. At the start of the season, there was potential to put maybe Jackie out wide, because, as we mentioned, that's where she's played for Holland. So Jackie can be in that role. And maybe that's where she could play next season, because we haven't got strength in depth on that on the wings. So that could be something that Kate is looking at. But yeah, something definitely needs to happen in regards to that area, just to start creating some opportunities at least.
Yeah, I mean, Ref makes a good point. Even me and Heather, all right. We shouldn't really judge her this season, because I think she was finding her feet within the team. She was playing under immense pressure, as well as we've all said, has been the massive marquee signing. I'm looking forward to the next season, because I don't think she's been as bad as what people have been saying about her on social media. I think I agree with Deborah. If you watch back the games, you'll actually see she's had a bigger influence.
She's not bad at all. She's just not scoring. That's the thing. Her work rate is off the pitch, getting that ball back. She can create in different ways. It's just unfortunate that she's not got any assists or goals. That's the thing.
Now, on to the last signing, and I know someone is very excited about this one. So I'm just going to say, Jake, it's over to you.
So let me tell a story.
Go on then.
So, in July of 2019, Manchester United women made a massive signing of Scotland's absolutely legendary, godlike striker Jane Ross, and I was over the moon, to say the least.
For those of you that don't know, Jake is the biggest Jane Ross fan in the world. Jake was raving. Last season, I remember when we played West Ham in the Conti semi-final, and you were saying, please don't let Jane score, please don't let Jane score, I'll be devastated if she scores. That's how, I mean, you've been wanting her to come to United for, well, forever.
Yeah, since we reformed, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it did get leaked that she was coming beforehand, but I still doubted that. I was like, is that a reliable source? Well, obviously then the official confirmation came that Jane Ross is a United player. And I was really excited, like so excited, because we all know that I've been watching her for years playing for Scotland. She played for City, she played for West Ham. She hadn't had a great goals to game ratio, but her work rate in them had been brilliant. As I say, the thing that shines out to me the most is her national team form. Such a good goal scorer, just natural instinct when she's in the box. And yeah, very excited. That's an understatement to how I felt about the Jane Ross signing. So yeah, let's move on to how she's been this season. Look, even as you put it, her biggest fan in the world, she's not been great, and it really pains me to say that because I will defend her to the end of the earth. But she scored like four goals all season, and that, as I say, it pains me to say that, but it's the truth. And I can only hope next season she really shows us what she can do.
Yeah, I mean, she's only started 9 games, so to score 4 in 9, actually that's not a bad goals to start ratio. And she played, I don't know how many, I think she played 18, 19, 20 games last season for West Ham. She scored 9 in the entirety of last season. So actually, if you're looking at her starts to goals ratio, she's actually scoring almost 1 every game. Really, she's scored 4 for us. She's started 9, so 1 and a bit. Scored 9 in. How excited, John? Were you worrying, John, about signing her, or were you like, it's another striker? She's a proven WSL striker.
I was excited by the fact that we had an experienced striker come in, and I saw the goal record because, again, sorry, Jake, I didn't know who she was. So I had to do a bit of research. on her, and I saw a record with the amount of goals that she scored for Scotland. I think it was over 50 at the time. And, I was expecting big things. I wouldn't say that we've had big things from her. But again, is that down to her own performance, or is it down to the formation that we play in? Or is it down to the midfielders not supplying her? I don't know, but something's not quite gone right for her. As you said, it is 4 goals in 9, but she has made a lot of. She's probably made about 9 substitute appearances as well, so she has been on the field quite a bit. And she's not really impacted maybe as much as LJ, who's come off the bench as well. So a little bit of I wouldn't say a letdown, but something's gone wrong somewhere across the whole team.
Yeah, I don't want to say she's a letdown because I think she's scored 4 in 9. It's a decent goal ratio. I think the one point, and John made it, is that she's not quick enough to get into the box. Jay, you'll probably answer this better. She's not got the speed to get in if Leah's going to whip a ball in, or Kirsty.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You have to take into account that Leah and Kirsty are both incredibly talented and pacey wingers, and they want someone to get on the end of the balls, if you like. And I think in that situation, I'd rather have Jess, banging them in, getting on the end of crosses and whatever. But Jane, I feel like she does have a place in the team. We just sort of need to adapt around her because it shouldn't all be about the one player. But when she's on form, she can play well, and it might take until her last game for United to prove my point. But look, I'm saying it, she will come good eventually.
Yeah, there was people who knew Jane in the women's game before. They said, if you give her the proper service, she'll score you goals. And I kind of see it both ways. She's not got that yard of pace to get her into the box to get onto some of the end. So would you maybe play her as a number 10 potentially?
Possibly, but then you have to, when you think about it that way, when you're going forward, you have to sort of be physical as well. And I think a major flaw in Jane's game is she's not physical, and that's the one thing I will criticise her for. Whereas you've got Jess, you've got Lauren, who are both very physical players. She's not, so it's about having someone to support her in that sense. I think that's the best way of playing Jane. Make sure someone is there with her. I wouldn't have her up on her own.
So I suppose the big question: could you, and would you, John, play her and Jess together? If Jake, because Jake said it he's an old style 4-4-2 guy. Could you play Jane and Jess together potentially?
I think that balance that would blend quite well. If you did play that 4-4-2 formation and you're talking about Jane Ross just coming back into that number 10 role, there's no one better that we've got at the moment who could get forward behind the defenders better than Jess. And I've said it all along. I want to see Jess down the centre so she can start scoring some goals herself. So any way to get Jess up front, I'll go with that definitely. And we do need to find a way to play to everyone's strengths. And by playing Jess up front, is playing to her strengths. And if Jane Ross can do better having someone alongside her, then that would only help what she's done compared to this season.
Jake, can you play them together?
Absolutely, that they are. Ideally, in my starting 11, I would have those two together because I think they do complement each other quite well. But can you name me a match where they are played side by side without one being in the middle and one being out wide? I can't, and I think if we explored that, something might come of it.
So I'll ask the question. John's asked it in the comments. Where do you play LJ then?
That's the thing. I think my main issue in terms of picking the team. Now we really see the issue Casey's got, the task Casey has before every game. I think it's got to either Jane or LJ, if I'm honest with you, but bring one of them off the bench, get some fresh legs going. Because, as I say, they're both very different players. They can both score goals on their day. But I feel like it's a really hard choice to pick between them. And being as least biased as possible, if I was playing LJ, I'd probably put her behind Jess, whereas Jane alongside. It's tactics. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan. I'm not a manager. I don't know tactics too well, but there's so many attacking techniques to try, and we will get a solution eventually. And
Jake, I'll give out your favourite stat. She's got a 100% record as captain. One game as captain, 1 game, 1 win. We're going to wrap it up now, guys. We've been on for just over an hour. I want to thank you both for being on. Thanks, John. Hope you come back on soon.
Thank you. Absolutely, yeah.
And Jake, hope we'll see you. I'll see you on the social on Sunday, as long as the Belarusian league doesn't get in the way of that.
Hey, I can multitask.
And thanks for people watching, and we'll be back again next week. Take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.